the year before, I had taken a break in my graduate program to go to South America, and I lived there and went to school there with a number of people who were getting their degrees later in life, their graduate degrees, after having fought all of the 80s, the whole 80s against these dictators, and some of them had been in jail, and some of them had lost their families and friends and had been disappeared or been exiled. And I felt ashamed of being in the place where I was. I felt like I could teach democracy studies or economics or political science when I hadn't really lived, and meanwhile my people were struggling. So when I went back to finish my master's degree, and there was this invitation to go back into the community, my community, and make a difference, I knew it was the right thing to do, and that's what I did, and I never turned back.
So what did you do?
So I started my first job after I finished my master's, and I dropped out of the PhD program, and I ran a program, a statewide program, registering low-income women to vote at welfare offices. And we hired welfare recipients across in about 10 different offices, and they were the ones who registered themselves really primarily first, and then learned a little bit about nonpartisan voter registration and canvassed welfare offices across the state to help people register and then get out to vote. And it was a great project, very successful, and that was the first time we did. We did some organizing at welfare offices, but also at food banks, and soup kitchens, because people are standing in line. And what I learned in that process is that we have all these people standing in line for assistance here and there, and none of them have ever even been invited to vote. So many times we talk about people who aren't voting as people who they don't want to vote, or they're lazy, or they're not want to participate. Most of the time, they don't know how, and they're embarrassed to ask, and they're usually pretty happy when somebody asks and invites them. Would you like to register to vote? And especially if that person's somebody who's never voted themselves and didn't say, and this is my first time voting too, and we're going to do it together. And it's a very different conversation. So after that, I said, well,
you were helping to franchise people. You were helping women.
Yeah.
Women. This is a power that we still have.
Yeah. And we need to exercise.
And they may have felt, I'm just guessing now, they may have felt disenfranchised. They may have not voted because you say nobody asked them. Maybe they felt their base was they weren't worthy to be a part of things. Maybe there was that subconscious assumption on their part. I don't know, I'm guessing, and I'll take this out if it's not pertinent, but you believe that in working within the system. Clearly you do, if you are trying to give people the voice of the vote. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's really powerful.
Yeah, I think people would vote if they understood it and knew how to practice. It's just like we're sending healthcare now to a lot of people who've never had it. But people won't use it because they don't know how. If you've never had a privilege, never exercised a privilege, it's wrong to assume that you know how. And we tell poor people all the time they're not very smart, so why wouldn't they believe that maybe they shouldn't be there?
Of course they would. Of course they would. I mean, it's a less than position that we assume about poor people in this country. That's what I was trying to say up there. Mm-hmm. We assume, and they take that in. They internalize that.
We take it in,
and so do they. I think, but at any rate,
I mean we as in they. I mean
as a country,
as in somebody who's been poor and is still every
and I
day.
don't know why I'm saying they, because I was born poor and I'm poor all my life.
It's part of it. We have to find that place where we're mad about what's happened to us, but not mad about who we've become because of it. We can be proud about who we've become at the same time as being mad and indignant and insistent that it change.
Right.
And it's a hard place to find, but once once you get there, there's no turning back.
Justified outrage. Justified outrage.